I got him. Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. We are back with the TED Show. I'm definitely in a different place, but I'm super excited to have Kendra Davies on the show. Kendra, what's happening?
Hello.
Hello. I loved our topics that we had for Talk It Out the last couple of weeks. I think it was amazing. I got so much response. I learned a lot about myself. And now we're going to talk about emotional intelligence.
Yes.
So I guess I'm just
more learning.
Another thing I need to work on, just what I needed. Here we go, something new. But I want you to define it, and then let's take a deep dive. I'm ready.
Okay, so emotional intelligence, the definition that I use when I work with folks is emotional intelligence is your capacity to accurately identify your feelings, the feelings of others, yes, and to use that information to use those emotions that you can identify as information to adjust how you react and respond. So emotional intelligence is broken down into 4 categories. And if you guys follow me on my personal page, I shared a few images to kind of help. And I think I tagged you in it as well. So it should be on the TED Show page as well. So the 4 categories of emotional intelligence are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. So it is basically this idea of like, am I self-aware enough to recognize what I am feeling when I am feeling it, right? Can I manage myself? If I'm defensive and I feel that I'm defensive, am I able to use that information to know right now is not the time to send that text or that email or to have an immediate response, right? Like I need to calm down. I can use that information to change my behavior. From a social...
Why do I want to change my behavior? I'm curious.
Why?
So you know what? I'm going to come at this with somebody who doesn't know anything about it, right? So this seems like another exercise in TED, having to figure out what TED needs to do to be a better friend / parent / lover / husband / business owner, which is fine. I'm learning, but this seems like you really have to dive in, like you really have to go, all right, I'm going to address some of these things that have been stored up inside of me for a long time.
Well, and I mean, you can go that route, and just like you should do that work regardless for yourself and for your friends, for your family, for your businesses. Do that internal work. But I think emotional intelligence, it doesn't have to be a deep dig into your past. It's literally just, wow, you made this statement, I'm having this emotional response inside. And so I'm going to practice the self-awareness to identify what that feeling is. Like, what does it actually feel like? Why do I feel this way? What prompted me to feel this way? Was it really just what you said? Or was it that, you know, we talked about before how words only hurt what's already there. So am I upset because what you said is actually terrible and you should never have said it? Or am I offended because there's some piece of me that's afraid that it's already true, right? So
no one likes to address this, right? Like, so no, it's not it's cathartic, but it's not necessarily something that you would go, all right, I'm going to do this. It's not going to be an easy journey necessarily.
I mean, it really just depends on how you approach it. I mean, if you're going to go kicking and screaming and say, I don't want to change, then yeah, it's probably going to be painful. But I also think that it's the simple things. Like there's books on it, right? There's Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman that you could read. It's one of the first books I ever read on emotional intelligence. It's pretty dense and it's very, very heavy in research, but I'm kind of a nerd, so I dig that. There's Emotional Intelligence 2.0. There's multiple resources and multiple books, the tests that you take to see where you stand on emotional intelligence. It doesn't have to be a hard journey. And it also doesn't have to be like therapy. It's literally just like, wow, what is this that I'm feeling? What does anger feel like in my body? How do I know when I'm stressed? So I'm one of those people, and Ted, you might relate to this. Like I have trauma, right, in my past. So I tend to not feel stressed, right? So if you're like, Kendra, are you stressed? Wow, you got a lot on your plate. I'm like, nah, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Correct.
Everything's good. Everything's good. But
wonderful.
I'm not sleeping. But I'm not sleeping well. I'm making shitty food choices. Like, you know, like my stomach stops working altogether. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
Like I'm having in my body is stressed. But here I'm like, nope, I flipped that switch off. I'm fine. Everything's great. So emotional intelligence, if I'm practicing emotional intelligence, I would do things like I might think that on the surface I'm fine, but I'm conscientious of what my body is telling me. My body is telling me that I'm not sleeping well. I've got racing thoughts, like my heart rate is really fast. I'm reactive to people when they talk to me. Emotional intelligence says, hey, let me practice some self-awareness and figure out what this is. Yeah. And then self-management says, how do I react to the current situation that I'm in? And what can I do about it that's probably healthier than my knee-jerk reaction that comes up?
Do you find that people are, I don't know, it seems like people would be a little bit leery of trying to figure out self-management, because self-management seems like self-control, and we're not, we say that we are really good at self-control, and most of us have a challenge with that.
Sure. And just because it's challenging doesn't mean it shouldn't be done.
Correct.
Like I'm of the mindset that I do hard things. And so when I experience that sensation of resistance, that I don't want to be wrong, I need to be right, like particularly in situations that are really common for people, like getting feedback. If my partner's giving me feedback, if my kid's giving me feedback, if I'm getting feedback from a client or at work, those are the situations where you can be super mindful of what's going on here and recognize that it doesn't serve you to have those knee-jerk reactions. That defensiveness that comes up, it probably isn't about the actual situation in front of you, but about something else that you've brought to the table. So being able to give yourself time and space to parse that out, you don't even have to deal with that thing that you brought to the table. I don't care if you deal with it, but you just change the way you react in the moment. You say, okay, that doesn't have anything to do with Janet not fixing the printer. You know what I'm saying? Like she used the last bit of the ink. She didn't replace the ink cartridge. Damn you, Janet. But like my anger doesn't justify the wrongdoing that I'm responding to. Well, so let me check myself.
You know that Janet is probably the 75th person refilling the ink, and they've been mad at all 75 people. And it has nothing to do with the refilling of the ink. And I think we prefer, I believe, to go the easy route. So we want to focus on Janet because that's something tangible right here. I can blame her. She's not in my wheelhouse, so it doesn't matter if I blame her. And then we don't deal with anything. So guess what? We repeat the same behavior, the same consequences, the same relationships over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And we don't deal with it. The emotional intelligence challenges you to figure out how to deal with things better.
Correct. Which is the second part, right? So now we have social awareness. So we'll use Janet as the example. We love Janet.
I love Janet and Karen. Love them all.
So Janet doesn't replace the ink cartridge. We get mad, right? And then let's say that conflict ensues with Janet. So the choices that we could make here, our social awareness might tell us that Janet is obviously having a bad day. We might notice that as we're approaching her at her desk, she's tapping her fingers. She's got a furrowed eyebrow. She looks like she might actually be upset. Social awareness is just being able to say, okay, well, Janet is not giving me the happy face. So perhaps I can deduce that Janet may not be having a good day.
Right.
Relationship management, that fourth piece of emotional intelligence, tells me that perhaps she's upset, not having a good day. And maybe I can save my confrontation and my anger over the ink cartridge that probably doesn't have anything to do with her for another day. Maybe I can simmer down, and then we can have maybe like in our next team meeting, we can talk about the importance of filling the ink cartridge and how annoying it is when you need to print something fast and there's no paper. Like we can bring that up casually at a team meeting. I don't need to confront her directly. Like that's a super...
Kendra, why do we feel the need to have to speak our minds, right? I feel like there are so many people I meet and their lives would be so much easier if they just chose not to speak their minds on every topic that aggravates them, impacts them, frustrates them. And I'm talking about little things like Karen
Sure.
and Janet and the cartridge. Why do we fight that? Why do we have to? I have to have the last word, Kendra.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we come across.
Well, I think you hit it right on the head when you talked about, like, it's just, one, it's easier from a mental capacity. It's easy if I can just assign blame, right? I just deduced that Janet is obviously a horrible person. She's super lazy. She doesn't give a shit about my time or what I've got going on in my life. I get to
hate her.
I can take all of my frustration and my angst that I'm carrying around with me. I can project it out onto Janet, blame the ink cartridge, and then I feel better. Yes. Because while I don't feel powerful or able to control the thing that I brought to the table, Janet becomes my scapegoat. Janet becomes the thing that I can blame and I can give that to. But really, I think, to your question, I think it's about powerlessness a lot of the times. When we feel powerless over this situation over here, and then somebody over here gives us an out, a way. Like, have you ever just wished that somebody would honk their fucking horn at you? Like you're driving and you're pissed off. You're having a day and you're like, listen, in your head, you're like, let one ever try me. You know what I mean?
Do it.
That's what that is. But it's like a subtle, softer view from like a day-to-day thing. So we can lash out about the ink cartridge because that is something that we perceive as controllable, stoppable, solvable, where we might feel very powerless over some other issue. I think a lot of people would be able to relate to this in context to your kids, right? Like, I definitely, it is within my values to not raise my voice at my son. Like, I don't want him to grow up and be a yeller. I grew up around yellers. I do not want him to be a yeller.
Yes.
So when I'm stressed and when I'm going through the shit, it's my job to regulate myself. And when I do raise my voice to my son, it's my job to practice my self-awareness and say, wow, that's outside of my values. I'm clearly upset. I'm clearly stressed. I'm clearly whatever the feeling is. Yeah. And then recognize and address that within myself. And then I have to take it back to my son in the scope of emotional intelligence. And I have to say, I'm sorry. Like, what you did was this, right? And while I don't like that, and I want you to, I would rather you did this in the future, yelling at you is not appropriate. It's not appropriate for us to yell at people that we care about. It doesn't help us get to a solution. And I hurt your feelings by yelling, and that's not okay.
Well, we don't want to, hey, Gabby and Kim, we don't want to take responsibility. If we admit that our reaction wasn't the right reaction, given the circumstances, then we have to take this responsibility on that maybe the problem's us, and nobody wants to admit that the problem might be you.
Yeah, man. Nobody wants that. Let me turn this down. I'm looking. I think that taking responsibility, we talked about radical responsibility weeks ago.
We did.
Emotional intelligence correlates to success like twice as much as IQ. Like, your capacity to be emotionally intelligent and responsible, it is going to propel you further than any other intelligence. It's going to help navigate rooms that you probably don't even believe you can find yourself in, right? It is a powerful, powerful tool because it helps you understand and access empathy and compassion in situations where it is easier to just discharge your emotions and put blame, right? You say, no more blame. I'm emotionally intelligent enough to understand what is happening within myself, and what's happening on the other side of this table. Because sometimes it's not even about you. It's not you losing your junk. It's somebody else losing their junk on you. And you're, whoa, what did I do? Janet, why are you talking to me this way? So we shift it out. But the emotional intelligence says, wait a minute, like, I just didn't change the ink cartridge. Like, Ted shouldn't be yelling at me over this, right? Maybe Ted's having a bad day. I know that not changing the ink cartridge is annoying, but perhaps it's not worth yelling. at
Correct.
the office.
Correct.
So I can manage that relationship and come to you and say, hey, I can tell that you're really upset. I'm sorry, I did not replace the ink cartridge. You're 100% correct. I will correct that moving forward. I hope you have an excellent day. I hope your day gets better. And I can just walk away.
And not
I don't
in
need
an
to
FU
confront
way,
you.
in a real way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a real,
Because,
I want you to enjoy your day because I'm kind of getting in touch with myself. It's not an FU moment.
exactly. And this is that's the difference between emotional intelligence and any other practice. It's that I'm going to just say, like, I understand what's happening here. I don't need to be like, are you yelling at me right now? Do you know who you are talking to? You know, like, I don't have to do that because I know that the way you're responding doesn't correlate with the thing that I did wrong. Like, it doesn't make sense. Do you get what I'm saying? So I can use my emotional intelligence and my relationship management to say, Ted's probably having a bad day. I'm probably going to have to talk to him about yelling at me later because that's inappropriate and I don't like it. But in this moment, I really need to put him in his place. And if I pick a fight now, I'm probably not going to get anywhere.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, because our natural reaction, by the way, Rose, I love you, Stacy's on, Gabby's
Oh,
on,
hi.
sweet, sweet people. I think people just get caught up in, okay, if you've made me mad, then I'm going to get mad at you. And there's no rationale to it. It's just our knee-jerk reaction, which you mentioned earlier. And so if I happen to be Janet and you're mad at me about that, well, then how I have to be in touch with my emotional intelligence in order not to react and strangle your neck because I didn't happen to do the cartridge. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
But there's so much going on in each person's life, and we have to figure out how to not. I've seen people lose their minds in Publix. I've seen like people lose their mind over stuff. I'm like, that's not even what they said, or you know, you have some culpability here, and nobody wants to hear it.
No, and I think that emotional intelligence is recognizing that in those situations where people are losing their shit, it is not time to say, hey, you're wrong. It's time to say, hey, I can tell that you're really upset. You know what I mean? Like, this is obviously a tough time for you, and you're in the middle of Publix losing your junk. It's probably, I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're having quite a day. So, like, now I think emotional intelligence is knowing when to intervene in those situations and when to not, like what battle is actually your battle, right? But emotional intelligence is also recognizing that we can hold space for other people to have emotional reactions. It's not an invitation to react every time. It really doesn't have to be.
Now that somebody that I love dearly happens to be watching this show, my comment to that would be, not every battle is your battle to fight. And not every battle is you fighting. There are, it's not because it becomes reactionary and you feel like, all right, well, I have to, it's the right thing to do. So I have to now stand up. I have to protect myself or my circle or my friends. And in reality, a lot of times, if you just step back for a little bit, I feel you, honey, is what Stacy just said. If you step back for just a little bit, you realize that it isn't yours to take on most of the time. And then you bring yourself drama and negativity by challenging that and going, I'm going to be the crusader. I'm the one. So you said something nasty to Kendra. Well, guess what? I'm going to take up for Kendra. Not knowing everything that happened, not knowing where Kendra is at, not knowing where the other person is at. And then people get involved. And then they don't listen to, or they don't take the step back that I think that they need to.
Yeah. And I feel like, again, emotional intelligence is going to be the practice of recognizing, is this a battle that is mine? And listen, if it violates your values, if you believe that we're talking about a situation of injustice, and I believe in the current climate, we're all being faced with things like that, then you got to stand up. You got to stand up if that's what you feel is like truly aligned with you. And there's ways that you can do it in an emotional, intelligent, compassionate way. And sometimes it needs to be a confrontation, and emotional intelligence lets me know where do I need to come in at a 10, or can I handle this at a 2? Do I need to de-escalate this so we can actually have a conversation and find resolution? Or am I in a dangerous situation, right? Like there's the situation that you're describing can have a bunch of nuance. So I don't want it to come off like we're saying blanket, don't react. We're saying incorporate, like read the room, pay attention to your audience, know who you're talking to, and then also pay attention to what's going on within yourself. At the end of the day, when we take these 4 parts of emotional intelligence and we put them together, what we're really talking about is, do I understand what's happening within myself before I have this reaction, right?
Yes.
How can I manage my own personal reaction? Am I being reactive? What is my goal? If my goal to persuade somebody, is my goal to get them to understand me, then yelling is probably not going to do it.
Correct.
I can control if you're going to be defensive. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, yes. I know that if I approach you and I say, listen, I love you. I want to have this conversation and it's hard, but we have to have it, right? If I come at you like that and then I lay the groundwork for how I'm going to approach it, if you choose not to accept it, then you choose not to accept it. Again, correct. We move over into relationship management. I can only show up to the best of my capability. I can't control you, right?
Right.
So at the end of the day, how do I feel? How do I use that information to decide if I'm in the best headspace to actually have this conversation? What is the goal of my conversation? And then where is the other person at? Are they going to be in a position to even hear what I have to say?
Correct. Or
do I just need to,
No,
like think about when you're in the shit, when you're mad, are you like, hey, can you like help point out where I went wrong here? That is not what happens. When you're mad,
it does not happen ever.
Yeah. And so being a place, like when you see that it's happening and you see that that person is having that reaction, like stepping back and recognizing, okay, this is where we are. This is happening and it's happening to me. It's happening at me. Let me decide what the best reaction for me and this person might be.
Okay, so a first step, if somebody's listening and says, all right, I agree, I probably tend to overreact to a situation that I have this much information on, and I want to get my emotional intelligence moving forward. What's a first step or 2 that they can take?
So I always start with emotional intelligence work on expanding your emotional vocabulary. Like the average person can only do like happy, sad, angry, and scared. Like we're talking 4 emotions is the emotional capacity of the average person. But oh man, I want to say that there's like 375 feeling words.
Wow.
And that might just be on one website. I think there might be more. But the point is that there are far more than 4 emotions. So if you want to grow your emotional intelligence, be able to differentiate and discern between frustration, annoyance, and anger, right? Like it is emotionally intelligent to be able to discern where somebody is. Like, are you raging or are you annoyed, right? Are you terrified or are you angry? Like being able to discern between these emotions is really important. That's step number 1. Like be able to identify them, know what they feel like in your body when you experience them. And then you switch that out and you look at other people and you say, how would I know the difference between the emotions in another person? What's the difference between when I see anger, rage, annoyance, right? Like what are the differences?
Yes.
And then I think step number 2 is learning to actually talk about feelings. So a lot of the times when I go into businesses, this is where things get really interesting because people tend to say like, I don't need emotional intelligence. This is a task. This is the task list and you just got to do the task. And here's the challenge. We are feeling creatures. You are going to feel more than like your feelings are going to inspire your thoughts. If you think about it, you feel a thing and then your brain says, oh, we feel the thing. And then we make up a story about what that feeling means, we make up the story about what the other person's actions mean, right? Yes. But we feel first. So once you're able to discern and identify emotions by name and by sensation, you have to translate that out and recognize that we have to be able to talk about our feelings. Imagine how much power it is when you come into that meeting and you're going to have to say, no, I didn't get it done. And, or if you have to confront Janet or you have to talk about it in the team, you can say things like, hey, when you don't change the ink in the machine, it is perceived as being disrespectful and like you don't care about my time. Right. And then I feel frustrated. I feel annoyed. I feel like I'm not supported. I feel like we're not a cohesive team. Right. Like, and again, I'm assuming that the ink cartridge is like a repetitive thing. We're not, this isn't like just a one-off.
Janet didn't do it once, multiple times.
So, but being able to adequately express how you feel in a completely owned position, not you make me feel, but like I feel this way.
Right.
Like I feel this way. And then letting that situation come out, like letting them tell you how they feel and you not making up stories and getting attached to what those feelings mean. Right.
Correct. Your own crazy narrative.
You got to keep that shit in check.
I'm not judging.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
We all have our own crazy narrative. Trust me.
Yeah, we do.
All right. So let's say somebody wants to get in check with their emotional intelligence or wants to learn more, or they want you to be their life coach. How do they reach out to you?
So you can go to stellarlifecoaching.com to connect with me. You can submit a contact form. My phone number is on the website. I also offer emotional intelligence, like virtual lunch and learns and live sessions and workshops. So if you want to learn more about emotional intelligence and how to bring that into your teams and your work environments, I do that. If you want to work on it one-on-one, obviously reach out to me and we can discuss those solutions.
That was so good. I learned a lot.
Yeah. Yay.
Good. All right. So thank you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Reach out to the one and only Kendra Davies with Stellar Life Coaching. Sorry about the room I'm in. It looks like an interrogation room. But
you brighten it up, Ted. You brighten it up.
So kind. All right. We love all you guys. Thank you, Kendra, for all you do. We'll talk to you soon. We'll be back at 4 o'clock. Mwah. See everybody later.
Bye.
Bye. All right.